Hello, we're going to learn today how to play heads and tails. What you'll need is 8 to 12 pennies. If you are at home playing this and you don't have pennies, nickels will work, dimes will work. We just need to have the heads and the tails. You'll need the recording sheet you received. Now, your child could play alone or they could play with another family member. Their first job is to decide how many pennies they're going to play with. They'll drop the pennies and then count how many are heads and how many are tails and record those two numbers on the recording sheet. They'll keep doing this until they run out of boxes. Let's see how we're going to do this. All right, Anaya's going to help us start the game. The first thing we need to do is decide, as it says here, for game 1, the total number of pennies we're going to use. Again, a number between 8 and 12. What did you choose to use, Anaya?
11.
Okay, write that down so you don't forget. Okay. All right. I need you to open up that container and make sure there are only 11 pennies inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. All right, let's get rid of the extras. We'll just take them out and set them off to the side out of our way. Very good. All right, put those back in the container. Lid on tight. And remember, we're going to do our 3 shakes. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, take the lid off because we are going to have to dump them out to count. Right there on our paper. So, Anaya, what can we do to make it easier to figure out how many heads and tails we have?
First, I'm going to sort them.
How are you going to sort them?
I'm going to put the heads on one side and the tails on the other.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So, what are you going to do next?
Well, I'm gonna count. I'm gonna use my number line.
You're just going to count how many? Why don't you move them to the bottom of the paper so you don't accidentally count some of them more than one time?
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Okay. So, on your heads, you're going to write down that you have how many?
11.
Go ahead and do that. And how many tails do you have?
0.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, put those back in the container so we can take another turn. All right, Brandon, it's your turn. Remember, we have 11 pennies in there. Go ahead and shake it for 3 counts. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And let's dump those out and see what you got. Now, how are you going to figure out what you have?
I'm going to sort them. I'll put heads on one side and tails on the other side.
All right, do that. All right, now we need to know how many heads there are. What's a good way to count those?
You could put them at the bottom.
Okay, do that and count for us.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
All right, let's write that down right away so we don't forget. Okay, how many tails do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4.
And let's write that down right away. Okay, now that we're both done here, taking our turn, I'd like for us to prove that we have problems here, number sentences that add up to 11. Well, my students have continued to play this game until they got to the bottom of their grid. What is a good idea for you to do, parents, with your child at the end is show them and help them realize that these combinations are actually number sentences. For example, on Anaya's here, the 11 and 0, she could write in the plus. She could put the equal sign at the end, and then the sum of 11, and share with you that number sentence. Will you say that out loud for us?
11 plus 0 equals 11.
Good. And, Brandon, let's look at yours. We realize that when we have 7 and 4 more, we get 11. Let's write that number sentence. Let's add the plus sign, the equal sign, and the sum of 11. Read that number sentence to me.
7 plus 4 equals 11.
Very good. All right, parents, you just keep playing this until you get to the bottom of the grid. Game 2, you're going to want to select a new number. They selected 11. You might want to go, again, anything from 8 to 12 with the 9 or the 12. What you can't do is change in the middle of the game. You can't have some with a sum of 11, some with a sum of 12. The whole grid has to be consistent, all 11 pennies. Enjoy your game.